This is a hard video to make. I try, and I try, and I fail, and I fail, and I fail. When will I get a win? I'm on some Drake shit right now. Desperately in need of a W.
I need the max win. I need the max win.
I need it like a fat boy needs cake. With each sentence written, and the more and more I write, the more I want to run away and cope doing what I usually do. Autopiloting Valorant or feeding my brain rot on YouTube or TikTok. But that in of itself is the problem. I need to change and rewire my brain and habits. In the past, I used gaming as a way to cope and check out, but now I want to transition its use from a form of coping to a point of reference for growth. So right about now, I'm feeling like a crack addict about to make a Hall of Fame career flip.
In this fall, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach and join the Miami Heat.
I decided to take my talents elsewhere. No more throwing hands with Frodo Baggins in your local Home Depot. From now on, I'm using my powers for good, using what was once a crutch as a springboard to reach new heights. But I'm not gonna lie, I've been struggling. It's not easy to go from years of brain-numbing sessions on autopilot through ungodly amounts of comp games while not learning a thing. To try and for once in my life, attempt to put in full effort and lock in, only to then fall on my face repeatedly after trying. Turns out that things you want in life sometimes take a lot of effort, or at least feel like it. But oh man, what a shocker. Who knew? So, it's time to pick myself up, dust myself off, and get back up to the reality that for the moment, I really ain't shit. So while you see my approach to self-improvement as a bit counterintuitive, I'll reframe it as poetic. But all that yap aside, despite it being a lifetime since my last video, look at me, man. Still in the same place I started. Supposedly. But yeah, without moving an inch, I still feel like I've made progress, albeit intangible. During the first leg of the journey, I was hyper-focused on consistency. I thought if I spent enough time practicing raw aim and mechanical skill, I'd wake up one day, start shooting like 10s, hit the rank, drop a few videos, make billions, and boom, I'd live happily ever after. But what I've come to discover is the importance of constant reassessment and refinement interwoven with the search for new patterns, approaches, and knowledge to guide myself in the right direction. To not just keep an open mind to my shortcomings and the faults in my judgment, but to hunt them down like the world depends on it. Because in the realm of achieving your goals, they do. In the past, I saw my goal as something with a concrete endpoint. I was walking around the block, la-di-da-di-da, feeling that I'd one day happen to stumble upon the quote-unquote answer, and from that point on, everything would fall into place. Essentially, this underlying assumption that I just breezed through life. For whatever reason, I had such an overinflated ego, I thought it'd really be that easy. And although I still haven't pinpointed where that sort of hubris or overconfidence comes from, I think finding out why will give me insight into my current blind spots and patch up the gaps in my approach. But that being said, it being this long with the same message of "I've been learning" without any clear signs of tangible progress is a bit concerning, no matter how far I think I've come. Still, I know I haven't reached my ceiling, just the ceiling of my approach. I can't just be brain dead and tell myself, I need to lock in. I need to lock in 100 more times and expect things to change. We don't rise to the levels of our expectations, we fall to the level of our systems. For the past years, I've been stubbornly stuck to the brute force mentality of trying to max out my amount of reps and hours put in. You know, Kobe mentality, right? Outwork everyone, and soon enough, you'll gap everyone who isn't doing the same. But unfortunately, up until recently, a key component was lost on me. Quantity is nothing without quality and reflection. I could be in the gym putting up thousands of shots a day. I could put up 1,000,000. But what are we actually doing? What are we improving on specifically? If we're just going through the motions, we won't get anywhere. Just showing up isn't enough.
Here we go again.
Work for the sake of work to make you feel like you're doing something is a pitfall I've walked into so many times I couldn't count it. You could say something like, well, you're putting up shots, so you must be getting better at shooting. But how are you getting better? Is it pull-up speed, practicing at a live games pace, staying focused and trusting yourself to perform under pressure, or simply just working on and refining your form? It's a hard pill to swallow thinking about how much time I've wasted mindlessly in the range with no direction or regard for technique or refinement. We need challenging, achievable, and measurable goals. Something specific that we can noticeably track and improve on. If we don't track our progress, we put ourselves in a progressional purgatory. Despite a disposition for pushing forward, if you set course with no direction, you'll just be running circles. It won't matter how far you go, after a while, you're gonna start losing sight of where you were headed in the first place. Now, with that being said, let's move on to implementation. So, to start off, imagine your goal is to make as much money as possible. So you figure, hey, let's find a job and get it in. You pick up a profitable trade and start developing and refining your skills. You become the best goddamn patty flipper the entire world has ever seen. God himself is looking down at you. Flipping burgers so goddamn good that if they landed on an Olympic podium, they'd win the gold. But at the end of the day, yeah, we're in the cut, but we're getting paid an hourly wage to do so. And to the best of my knowledge, I don't know any hourly job that's gonna get me a howdy neighbor from Elon Musk or Jeffrey Bezos. And flipping patties on an Olympic level's not necessarily the most lucrative skill. So then, how will we leverage our transcendent patty flipping capabilities? Because if the goal is to be filthy rich, popping off at a set hourly rate inherently isn't going to cut it. And I need a howdy neighbor from Jeff Bezos tomorrow. I need a Pagani with a citywide surge of broken necks. I need a vacation home on the moon. So let me ask you, are you going through the motions feeling like you're just doing what you gotta do and slowly chipping away at the grind, but don't have any noticeable signs of progression? That's a question worth asking. What are we doing here? How are we gonna free the people on Epstein's Island? Alright, let's get to where and how I'm applying this philosophy. As I've said earlier, I've been entrenched into the mindset of quantity of reps for so long, I've hit a rut. Which is why I'm taking a second to sit around and wonder why it is I've been stuck at this certain impasse for so long. And when I do that, if I'm being honest with myself, I feel like I've never really truly given my all in anything. As soon as a problem arises that I can't easily address, I typically just bow out. Want to hit the gym and get in shape? Well,
My wrist and my shoulder hurts when I bench, and I can't perform most of the compound movements.
correctly at least.
But I've watched a billion YouTube videos on form, and no matter what I do, the pain won't go away. I don't know what to do.
Alright, but that's the wrong approach. The answer here is simply to not only keep going, but looking for any way to proceed or progress, no matter how small it may seem. As the saying goes, if there's a will, there's a way. You can't just give up like that if you really want something. So moving past that, let's move on to what I'm currently focused on and my current affliction. I've noticed that I tend to disassociate a lot. Every time I feel a bit of resistance or discomfort, I have a tendency of blanking out. An internal refusal to confront whatever's in front of me, whether that's failure, diminishing someone's perception of me, or my dissatisfaction with where I'm at the moment. Anything to block a shot to the ego. Whether that means putting up a mask, playing a part, or simply avoiding any uncomfortable situation, I'm essentially slowly degrading the person that I want to be. Like most people, fear holds a weight over me and casts a shadow over my intuition. That's a bit of a problem, seeing that gut reactions and quick decisions rule our day to day. On top of that, I've noticed this pattern of behavior in pretty much every aspect of my life, whether that be social situations, work, sports, or gaming. It all comes through that filter. It feeds that complacent aspect of myself and gnaws away at my confidence and growth. So, how do I overcome this? As hard as it's been to admit it, I don't know. If I did, I wouldn't be sitting here trying to just sift through my thoughts. But that's the whole point of what I'm doing right now. So, I have this narrative written in my head, right? That I'm just some sort of tragic hero. It's so goddamn cringe to say it out loud, but that's just about how I've portrayed myself in my head. This guy that, despite having a rough start and all the reasons in the world not to succeed, does anyway. The storybook ending and all that. Living on a predetermined, idealistic railroad of how my life should go. I need to throw that part of myself away. I still feel capable of achieving my dreams, but life has woken me up to the fact that it's not going to be quick, easy, nor guaranteed. I need to swallow that pill and admit that. For now, my best answer is self awareness and trial and error. Currently, I'm trying to be more mindful of when I start blanking out and actively try to push past it, but I want to remove that reaction from my repertoire entirely, not simply cope with it. But at the same time, I can't get stuck on perfectionism. The flavor of the day is refinement, but that's been a big speed bump for me. Rather than taking the small improvement, I sit around waiting for the big leap. So I go on my way walking into the same trap over and over. In reality, there is no big leap. It doesn't just pop out of nowhere and appear. It's more so the accumulation of these little steps. By themselves, they may be negligible, but they compound when stacked over time. So if I keep telling myself, if only I could stay locked in and always play at my peak potential,
Then I'd be able to reach my goals.
that's such a cop out. Essentially, what that thought is saying is, oh, if only I never had a completely normal human reaction, then I'd be good. It's the same energy as some bum at your local gym saying, man, if I was tall, I would have been in the league too. While they're built like a goddamn balloon and couldn't put a ball in a bucket if they were standing in it. It isn't that the people we respect and admire don't feel the things we do, they've just found a better way to work around it. I've been misleading myself by trying to simply get rid of and somehow remove these mental obstacles in front of me, but it seems that the only way forward is through. Humility and preparation, baked in with a tamed ego in reflection, seems to be the way. I can't continue telling myself that the next time will be different. How am I going to make it different? What am I going to change to get what I want? How can I ensure that I will continue to stay on that corrected path while keeping an eye out for an even better one? Because there always is.